my contribution with a content warning. Code brown in Mahurangi. Since Cyclone Gabriel, February 2023, we've had ongoing contamination events of sewage and wastewater being discharged in the Mahurangi River. This has significantly disrupted oyster farming in the region. At one stage, it was so bad it was described as a sewerage plume infecting our beautiful river. The health of the marine environment has now been severely compromised. Let's look at some of the totals of what's been discharged by Watercare. In 2023, 1.5 million litres discharged. In 2024, 800,000 litres discharged. 2025, we're only in July. So far this year, 3.3 million litres of discharge into the Mahurangi, including raw sewage. That would be equivalent of 110 trucks carrying 30,000 litres, Madam Speaker. Fecal matter infesting our river while our oyster farmers aren't able to harvest because of Watercare's failures. Commercial losses for our local farmers. They rely on the harbour's clean water for their aquaculture operation. This is a small operation, $8 million, but it's significant for our local region. And the continued degradation of the water quality due to the infrastructure failures, the operational mismanagement by Watercare must be addressed urgently. Madam Speaker, Auckland Council, they are the regulator. They are the ones who have been totally silent on this issue. How long have they known about this issue? Well, they should certainly know all about the Coastal Policy Statement 2010, Policy 8, Aquaculture. The Council must recognise the significant existing and potential contribution of aquaculture to the social, economic and cultural wellbeing of people and communities by the need for high water quality for aquacultural activities. Auckland Council has renewed the consents of the Mahurangi oyster farmers. They now have more than 20 years on their consents to farm in the region. Auckland Council has pocketed the money, but they are silent on this issue of Watercare discharging sewage into the Mahurangi River. The Council has the responsibility to treat the effluent and stormwater to the required environmental standards. This is not happening. It just doesn't make sense. Where they're discharging all these truckloads of basically sewage into the river is classification 3, but down at the harbour, and the water flows down into the harbour, it's classification 1, which is a food growing area. It just does not make sense. Auckland Council, they do fine people for breaching the RMA in relation to contamination of waterways. For a chemical spill, $112,000 where someone spilled into a stormwater drain. Discharging waste into a nearby stream, they charge them $86,000. Contaminating stormwater systems with multiple charges of discharging sediment, $67,000 fine. Discharging sewage into the environment, $14,000. Another one, $40,000 for illegal sewage discharges. The list goes on, Madam Speaker. Now, who has raised this issue with Auckland Council Mayor Wayne Brown and Watercare? Well, Oceans and Fisheries Minister Shane Jones has. Local Government Minister Simon Watts, thank you. He's fired a shot across Watercare's bow yesterday. Local MP Chris Pink, he's playing good cop in this one. Food safety, of course, Minister Hoggart has raised the issue. Aquaculture New Zealand, our local mana whenua, Ngāti Manuhiri, our CEO, Nicola McDonald, has been raising this issue constantly. But on deaf ears it has fallen. Minister Jones has basically said they have failed in their statutory duty of care to the Mahurangi oyster farmers. Their organisation should be renamed Zero Care, Madam Speaker. In fact, in an email from Watercare to Aquaculture New Zealand, they basically said the minister should find some government money for the oyster farmers. What? They expect the taxpayer from Huntly, the taxpayer from Kaikui, to pay for Watercare's mistakes in the Mahurangi? No, Madam Speaker. This needs to sit with Auckland Mayor Wayne Brown. It is a code brown situation, Madam Speaker, and we respectfully request that this time, yes, you do rush out with buckets, Mayor Brown, and fill them up with coin and support our local farmers, our oyster farmers. Jazz up the support from Watercare, open up their purse strings wide, and do the right thing. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Now, just to put in some context to those who are wondering where the Mahurangi River is, so I've just gone on to Google Maps here, and just to put some context into things there. Yep. The Mahurangi River is basically, it's a two-armed river, but effectively it flows from flows along here, goes through the western half of Warkworth, and crosses over near that annoying Hill Street intersection that everyone remembers about the traffic lights, and then flows on into the harbour. We've got Snell's Beach on one side, and you've basically got, goes right out into here, out into towards the Hauraki Gulf.
Yep.
So just putting some context in there, because I thought, very visualising what Jenny said, but we can now visually actually see what she meant.
Yeah. So, congratulations to Jenny for recognising the problem. Now we've got to try and find a solution, and I don't know, this coalition hasn't got one, unfortunately, because, we could have had increased funding into things with under Three Waters. They are correct that there's a lot of problems with Auckland Council, but,
it doesn't help that they're unitary authority.
That's right. And, you look at the amount of funding and stuff, and you've got people from central government pushing to develop and grow
and
Auckland.
Especially when the watchdog is watching the council screwing up.
Yep.
When
Exactly.
it's the same people that have to regulate each other. Hence
Yep.
why I'm not a fan. Hence why I'm not a fan of amalgamation.
Hmm.
And this is an example where when you sit there and have your watchdog, literally, what do you call it? Administering your watchdog is administering yourself screwing up.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much here to unpack. Like yes, okay, increased rainfall, right, to be expected with climate change. The other thing too is that you've got housing being developed, but the associated infrastructure is not being developed with it. This has been going on for years.
Yeah.
For years, and Auckland's just continued to grow and grow and grow, and yet water infrastructure has been underdeveloped, and now it's impacting other industries, including not just aquaculture, but also agriculture as well.
This is something that's happened since Super City has come in. Warkworth has just ballooned.
Yeah.
Warkworth was not pre-Super City. It was not this satellite. The Pukekohe of the actually Pukekohe is another example. That's the south, but the Pukekohe of the north is becoming Warkworth. Except it's on the main road.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that's got to be unpacked here too is that Jenny's like saying, why should the taxpayer from the Wairarapa or the taxpayer from here pay for it? Okay, Jenny, what you're asking for is for the rates to go up. Because the central government's not willing to invest, Auckland Council will have to put the rates up to pay for the plumbing. And of course, people don't want to pay for extra rates, so they're going to get poop water in their oysters. If you want E. coli, don't do anything.
Yeah, you definitely know how to sit there and ruin someone who, I wouldn't call myself the biggest fan of oysters, but I'm pretty sure we've got someone who's in our chat who actually is a fan of oysters.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of poop water.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
No one should be.
No.
Yeah.